following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Sounds 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick and Michael Sindrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on a hot Tuesday afternoon, and frankly, our show's going to be hot as well. Watson Brown is going to have incredible analysis at 4:20 of yesterday's debacle up in Buffalo. You're going to want to hear that. At 5 o'clock, Tony Basilio, sports talk show host out of Knoxville, to preview the most hyped up Tennessee football game in a long time. The Gators and the Vols Saturday at Neyland Stadium. 5:20, we'll open up the phone lines. We will also release all the info that you need to know about the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. It is going to happen, so I guess we call it our second annual. With that in mind, let's head up to the plateau. Say hello to Coach Watson Brown. Watson, how are you?
George, I'm doing good. I've got to get my wife Brenda practicing a little bit. We're getting closer to bowling night, and I got to have her at her best. She's my A player.
Her best was 168 a year ago.
I think that's right.
Yeah, not bad at all.
That's for older young lady that has not bowled in
You had to be real careful.
20 years. I'm a little careful with that one. Yes.
Good move. That's a very good move
with that one.
Okay. Billy, a year ago, you were in college during the old bowling event. This year, you will be an 8 o'clock celeb. Good luck.
You had to throw me in the 8 o'clock slot.
Well, no, 8 o'clock is, there's one group that really wants to be early. There's another group that wants to be a little later.
No, I'm excited. I don't care where I am, George. I wish I could have been there last year. But I got to ask you, Watson, any advice before I walk into this this bowling tournament? I mean, what do I need to know?
Just make sure you brought your tough skin with you, because
Oh,
you're liable to catch a little grief if you're not bowling very well. You're liable to catch a little grief even if you are bowling well, to be very honest.
Either way.
if you don't have a sense of humor, this is not your event.
No.
There was more laughter, more lies, some beer. It is probably the most fun charity event I've ever put on, and I have put on some doozies over the years, but this one was really fun. I'm excited.
The one thing I'll say, and I know we got to get going, I'm next to Norman Jordan and his group bowling, and I'm with Daryl Denson and Blair Durham and Brenda and I, and Norman's group don't show. So Norman bowls for all four of them. So by the end of the day, the boy
His arm
is
was out of socket.
out. I mean, he just kept. I looked over and said, "Dang, Norman, are you?" He said, "I'm bowling for all of them."
Oh,
So we maybe shouldn't expect Norman this time around because his arm fell off.
Oh, he's tough. Norman will be there.
absolutely.
He'll be there. I think the first round we bowled twice, and the first round they were there and they had to leave for something. So Norman just decided, I'll bowl the second round, all four of them. And by the time that was over, you can imagine he was wore flat out.
Terry McCormick will be put on the spot here, not for his daily Titans update. Terry, I assume you are accepting the invitation for this year?
Oh, sure. It was a great time last year.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun.
You're 6 to 8 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay, you'll be on the
some
big
of the fun,
board.
as as Watson kind of noted, some of the fun came at your expense, George.
You know what? All of you can go shove it. Who were the guilty parties?
Oh, pretty much anybody that had on a yellow shirt that night.
I love it. That's great. So, okay, last night's a disaster. We know that. Injury-wise, how did they come out of it?
Not real good, George. Mike Vrabel said today that they were still evaluating Taylor Lewan. There were some whispers out there that he could have had a season-ending injury out of this deal with that knee injury on the very first offensive play that the Titans had. Trenton Cannon was lost on the opening kickoff with a knee injury. They also lost Bud Dupree to a hip injury, but Vrabel did say today that he doesn't feel like that is a major injury, so they may have avoided a big problem there. And then Ugo Amadi, the Overton product, who has been filling in at nickelback for the Titans in the first couple of games, he went out with an ankle injury, and you saw what happened in the secondary, especially in the second half when they were forced to play a lot of young guys who may not have been quite up to the task of facing Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs.
So, Terry, let me make sure I've got at least a piece of this correct. We don't know yet about Taylor Lewan. Where did that end today?
People said that they would still, they're still evaluating the situation and that they would, make some sort of decision. Now, they did not place him on injured reserve today. That doesn't mean that they won't put him on injured reserve tomorrow. I think they're still looking through this and evaluating it, seeing, what steps are necessary. So, not a lot was revealed in the aftermath of the game. You have your national guys that always do their speculating and whatnot. But, the Taylor Lewan situation, the thing is, if he's lost for the season, that truly could be the end of him as a Titan unless he, decides to take a pay cut or something to come back next year, because he has a high cap number. He's starting to get up there in age, and the injuries have been starting to catch up with him the last 2 or 3 years.
Terry, in the past, when this team has had its back against the wall, as they kind of did last night, they've always rallied to the cause. Other than the touchdown early that tied the game at 7-7, there was nothing there. How surprised are you by that?
I'm a little bit surprised, and that's something that I wrote a little bit about today, is just the fact that last year, this team went through 91 players, and they were very resilient, and they found guys like Zach Cunningham and Buster Screen and Dontrell Hilliard and Deontay Foreman off the scrap heap, basically. And those guys came in, contributed, played really well. Last night, when it came time to fill in guys for injuries, they just collapsed. The offensive line was terrible, almost from the outset, except for the first couple of drives. And then the defensive line couldn't get any pass rush. The secondary got exposed. Those young guys back there wound up giving up a lot of plays. Guys like Trey Avery and Caleb Farley, Roger McCrary, they just looked completely overmatched last night, George, in almost every facet of the game.
Yeah, which is the real surprise of it, because a year ago here was an old-fashioned shootout. Terry, thanks as always for the visit. We'll do it again tomorrow. Get your bowling shoes ready.
We'll do that, George. Thanks.
Terry McCormick with our daily Titans update here on the show. Billy, where we go?
You good, George?
Excuse me. Got something caught in the throat. Where do we go to start all this?
Well, we go to the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners. They are proven to be trusted with your most personal asset. The Justin Tucker team, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty. Call them at 615-906-8458. And also, Sumner Funeral and Cremation. They are sharing their family with yours in your time of need. And now with 2 convenient locations in Gallatin and Hendersonville, and online at sumnerfuneral.com. Sumner Funeral and Cremation, traditional affordable, and dignified. And George, first order of business here in the update. Number one, Dane Jackson has been released from the hospital. The Bills received good news this morning regarding cornerback Jackson, who was transported to the hospital last night after suffering an ugly neck injury in last night's game. Good news, no neck or spinal cord injuries, and he is resting at home. So that is really good to hear.
That is the best news that has come out of this game, Watson. I was really worried when I saw it, and I'm sure you were as well.
I knew it wasn't a concussion because he didn't get hit directly in the head. He got hit kind of underneath and took his head and neck backwards. So I was worried about neck injury, George, more than anything, and you weren't going to know that. The good thing was he had all movement, because after he got hit, if you watch the tape, he took his right arm and slammed it down into the turf because I think he knew he was done for the night. But he had strength in that arm and everything, so I wasn't as concerned. The only thing that I was waiting on was all the MRIs and everything on his neck to make sure there wasn't a broken bone or something in there. So glad that he's okay, and I'll bet you he plays this week. If not this week, it's just 2 weeks for sure.
Well, thank God. That's some terrific news. What's next?
Next piece, the Buccaneers are set to sign veteran receiver Cole Beasley. He's 33 years old, played in Buffalo the past 3 years, and then 7 years in Dallas before that. So Beasley's still getting after it. The Bucs have signed him.
Yeah, he got caught up in Buffalo in the I'm not doing the vaccine, and at the end of the year, they basically told him to take a hike. Tampa has got real injury issues right now. Godwin, Julio Jones, honk if you've heard that one before, and now the suspension to Mike Evans. They've got receiver depth issues.
Yeah, they do, George, and I think this is a good signing. Miller did not play well, the little guy that they use as an inside guy quite a bit. They use him both ways in Tampa. They kind of have to now. So they got a little void in there, even with the guy that was playing it, and I think this is another Tom Brady move. That's just me. I think Tom walked in and said, bring him in here. We need some older guy. We need an older guy or two of these young people that we're going to play with for a couple of weeks here.
Have no doubt you're right about that. What's item 3?
Item number 3, Cleveland has banned the fan who hit the owner of the team and organization, Jimmy Haslam, with a bottle during Sunday's 31-30 loss to the Jets. As Haslam was walking towards the tunnel following a touchdown from Garrett Wilson, a fan apparently threw a bottle that hit Haslam in the leg. So that fan will no longer be seen in Cleveland.
It's what ought to happen. We're reading one of these stories basically every Monday after an NFL game. And I don't know what the answer is. Stopping beer sales isn't going to happen. I don't know. But this is the right move.
However you can secure it better, of course, that's the way. But the punishment's huge, I think, George. You've got to punish these guys. You got to catch them and punish them to where the guy sitting next to him says, I don't want to get caught in that. Mm-hmm. And so it slowly stops it just on throwing one out of the league. I think that's not strong enough. I would say he couldn't go to any NFL game, not just one in Cleveland, but any NFL game when a bottle can kill you. I mean,
sure it can. That
can kill you. If that hits him in the head instead of the leg, George, he could be laying there dead. That's serious, serious stuff. And it's got to be controlled.
Okay. Former Predator hangs it up.
Yes. Former Predator PK Subban has retired from the NHL following 13 seasons. He also played in Montreal and New Jersey. He suited up, George, in 834 career games, 115 goals, 467 points. He revealed this as the end of this chapter on Instagram, and he was a free agent as well. I think some people forget, but really, really good career if it is all over.
Well, first of all, he'll end up in a broadcasting career. You can take that to the bank and book it because he's got a charisma about him. He's done some work during playoffs. He's pretty good at it. And as a Predator, he probably did more than he was appreciated for.
I 100% agree with you. I enjoyed watching him play. It seemed like that he got this deal of he's messing up the locker room, George. And I don't know that we still have proof of that.
I don't think even the closest hockey people are very close to the vest. They're as good at that as any sport.
They are.
And even the ones that are there on a daily basis, and I don't pretend to be, I don't think they know.
Yeah. But that's what we kept hearing is why he was gone. And he'd be a guy to me, personality, a good looking guy. He may show up on TV. I just got a feeling he'll start the career in that direction, maybe through the NHL some way, maybe just as an actor or whatever, because I just got a feeling that's where he'll go.
Okay, last story.
Maury Wills has died at age 89. Of course, one of the best base stealers in baseball history. He died at his home in Sedona, Arizona. So he was with family members. So that's good for him. But George, I didn't know who he was. I know you were making jokes about that.
Yeah.
I don't want my favorite shortstop of all time. I grew up a Dodgers fan because George knows this. We watched the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Cubs, and the Cardinals. That's all you saw on TV. And mostly the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Yankees as I was growing up, because there wasn't but one game a week. It was called the game of the week. And so I was a Dodgers fan, and I was a shortstop all the way through my time, and I just loved him. I mean, watching him steal a base is still a piece of art in my opinion. I say one of the best of all time. I put him in the top 10 for sure. I don't know if his stats show that. That's just the way I felt. And so you missed a good one by being too young. Yeah. Go back and watch some tape.
Watch some of the tape tonight on that story, because he was the catalyst in a Dodger offense that had very little, but had Sandy Koufax and had some Don Drysdale. They had great pitching, Claude Osteen. They didn't have a lot of run production, and he was the guy at the top of the order that made their deal go.
Who did you say the record that he broke, the stolen base, or did somebody
Vince Coleman broke his record. He stole 104 one year, and then Coleman got to 118 in the Whitey Herzog era in St. Louis. Gotcha. Anyway, I know we got to go to the break. If you don't ever listen to Watson Brown's Titans analysis, you need to listen today, because he's not going to sugarcoat it. He is going to tell you exactly what is going wrong. So stick around. This is Main Street Media Television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, and personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. If you've lost a spouse or a parent and want to make sure your inheritance is utilized and does not just disappear, I can help with that. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email eric@rockcastlewealth.com.
Well, we're back, and let's just call a spade a spade. Last night was a disaster in Buffalo, a level of disaster I didn't see coming. I thought they would play hard. I didn't necessarily think they would win, but it was an out-and-out disaster. So, Watson, obviously, your Titans analysis brought to us by the folks at Pennington Distilling Company, and we thank them for the sponsorship. Let's talk about the 4 things that stood out to you and where you take them. Number 1 is this no offensive identity, and with it comes some Derrick Henry. Go.
Yeah, I'd first say, George, Mike Vrabel, Coach Vrabel's got his hands full. He's going to earn his pay this year because he's got a lot of things to correct. And I didn't see a team that didn't try last night. I saw a team get intimidated in some ways. And so he's got to keep the confidence of the team. I don't know how he handled his press conference, but I would bet you he wants to keep his team up and confident and say we can correct these things. But behind closed doors, I'm telling you, he's got a lot to handle and a lot to correct. And I think it starts right here. They don't have an offensive identity. They haven't had one really since Arthur Smith left. And I give a little bit to when Derrick got hurt. But, George, our money is being spent on Derrick Henry and our quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. And we don't use either one of them the way that we should use them, which is use their talents the best we can. I think last night I saw more running plays, different kind of running plays in one game than I saw in a whole season with Arthur Smith. We're running a lot of different stuff. A lot of it is sideways, which is not what Derrick Henry does well. I don't think they took him downhill probably 5 or 6 times in the game, in the whole game. And the second piece of Derrick, we can't just throw a play action pass on first down, which we needed to do last night. It's incomplete and then take him out of the game. We do that too much. We've got to figure out a way to leave him in the game and let 2nd and 10 still be 1st and 10, where you hand him the ball or you play action pass and then throw it down the field, because I don't care if it's 2nd and 10, you stick the ball out still right now to number 22, the whole defense steps up. And then the third piece of that to me is use him in the sprint set some. You don't have to just have a receiver out of the backfield. When you can run a draw and a screen to Derrick Henry or hand off a zone play when there's 5 in the box, that's still a dangerous thing. Let him stay in there with his 250 pounds and double team and help pass protection and throw 4 wideouts instead of throwing to 5 people. Not all the time, but some of the time. And then that leads to Ryan Tannehill. What does Ryan Tannehill do best? Play action pass, and when he gets to throw it to one guy. You look at his good throws last night, they were to one guy. And then when it comes to a second receiver, or you have to shuffle twice to get that receiver to come open, he's not near as accurate. So use what Ryan Tannehill does best. Use Derrick Henry. That's where we put all of our money. Part of that problem may be what we're going to get to here in a minute with the offensive line. But we have no identity. We're a grab bag offense right now. And I think Mike Vrabel is in the room. I think he's been in the room, but I think there's going to be a point where they say, we got to go back and do what we planned to do when we brought these 2 kids in. When we signed them, here's the way we were going to run our offense. And because of talent or getting cute, our offense has no identity right now.
Well, you realize that what you are really saying is what the fans are screaming and yelling about, and that is that Todd Downing is not a very effective offensive coordinator. And without naming him, Watson, that's what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying what I've seen has not been good. So I think Mike Vrabel is in that room more than we give him credit for. I think Coach Vrabel is a hands-on dude, and I think he's in there, and he's just got to get his coaches to do what he wants done. Mike's not a guy, I can tell you right now, I hadn't heard nothing, but he's not letting him go. He's going to get even more involved. And I'm not to the point of calling plays, but to the point of everything but calling plays. He's going to be in that room more. And Mike Vrabel is not a 5 wide out, sling it ever down dude. He is not a Buffalo Bill. He's a Tennessee Titan, and he's going to do it the way he wants. And the more he gets into the hole when things aren't going well, the Mike Vrabel's going to come out. So I'd bet my house that this week we're going to see a change back to a more conservative attack offense. And we're going to get to the big if, and there's pieces in that offense that might not be fixable, George, that also might be part of this problem.
Do you think he has a weak spot when it comes to Todd Downing?
No, I don't. I think he's a coach's guy, and he's going to stick by his guy. And I think he's in there telling him what to do. And I think he'll stick with him as absolutely long as he can, as long as his offensive coaches do what they tell him to do. And I think he's been in the room. Now I think he's in the room and saying, we're doing it this way.
Lock the door.
I don't think there's any hints anymore. I think he's saying, I'm tired of it. We're doing it this way. And Mike's way is you'll never know that. But I'll bet you that's what's going on.
Item number 2 is even more alarming. Offensive line and wide receivers. Are we good enough?
That's the part that scares me. All the things we just talked about are correctable. These 2 things I'm not sure are correctable. The offensive line to me doesn't look like anything. What was the 2 tackles? Kelly was one, and then what was the one before him? Conrad or somebody with the big, strong tackles that played for us. Our tackles now are lighter, better feet, better pass protectors, but they're not just run blockers. We're playing with a 270-pound guard. I hope he's good enough. But right now, we're not getting the movement inside that we're used to seeing. Part of that is The Bills did. They flat crowded the box, man.
Oh, my God.
They put them up there. You could see nearly 10. You could for sure see 8 blue shirts on the TV screen. And so we got to be able to throw those play action passes, George, when they do that and connect on them and don't quit on it so quick. Last night we'd get to, and I'm getting away a little bit. I'm coming back to it. But last night it'd be 2nd and 10. We'd be 5 wideouts. Keep Derek in there, keep those tight ends in there, and make it 1st and 10 on 2nd down. And either throw a play action pass or run the ball. So the offensive line is a big concern to me that we don't have the strength we've had. Taylor Lewan is another concern. He has turned into Julio Jones. I'm just telling you the way it is. He doesn't play. He misses a lot of games. And if he's back, he's fought this now for 2 or 3 years. He's getting on up in age. We've got to fix that. Probably should have fixed it before this year and had a really good third tackle, We did that with Ryan Tannehill because we weren't real sure of Marcus Mariota. I think we needed to do it with Taylor Lewan because it's just kind of Julio Jones to me all over again, George. So to me, Taylor is an issue because I don't think it's not his fault. He can't stay healthy. Our wide receivers, dadgummit, how in the world, when you think you got a Super Bowl possibility in this team, do you let A.J. Brown go? You don't hear me get on them very often in coaches and general manager. I didn't understand this one from day one, George. You've got a Super Bowl possible team here. You've got an All-American guy that nobody can cover, which our offense needs in the worst way. He threatens us with these big dollars. He wasn't going to not play this year. The only thing he could have done is just not played, right? If we didn't give him the money this year. But instead, we lose our cool and trade him, and now we're doing it with a bunch of young guys. And last night, if we had Diggs on our team, they couldn't have played us like that. But I don't think they're scared of anybody that we have. And, man, that's not Buffalo's way. But they got down in there and said, you ain't handing it to 22 and beating us tonight. It's not happening. And we couldn't do anything about it. These guys could grow up and be really good players. Trayvon made some nice plays last night, but he's not A.J. Brown right now, George. He doesn't make the plays A.J. did, and he doesn't get the respect A.J. gets, which changes philosophy on these defenses, knowing that number 11 was sitting out there and said, man, we can do this, but we better mix it out and in because they're going to raise up and throw it out here, and we can't cover that guy.
You know, you've got, in my opinion, a below average NFL wide receiver core. I'll just call it the way I see it. I don't know if you agree with that. Burks has a chance at some point, but it's unfair to say you have to be A.J. Brown today. That's not fair.
Not fair. It's not fair. And it's really hurt our offense. That move really hurt our offense. I think it's the number one piece. That and not bringing in a little better offensive line. You only got so much money. I get it. I understand. I can't make those decisions because I don't even know how it works that well. So I got to be careful on how far I go. But there's just no way in the world with this good a football team that we let A.J. Brown go. I'm telling you, I've been quiet on it for a while. I've hinted around about it, but I saw it last night, and now we're going to get crowded, and some of these kids are going to have to come through, man. And I'm just not sure. Maybe by midseason, George, this can happen. And the good thing is we're in a division. We can start slow, pick it up, and still win the division. But right now, we're not anywhere close to A.J. Brown. Not anywhere close.
Let's go to number 3. Terry brought it up. They're very young back there, and they got torched.
Yeah, and the pass rush wasn't near what we've seen, and we're going to get that in number 4. And so we got exposed. A good team exposed us. They can throw it. They can throw it well. One of their best receivers, their second best receiver, didn't play. But Stephon Diggs he intimidated us. Our kids looked intimidated. We still got a lot of kids back there. They're not men yet. I think they're talented. I think they'll grow into good players, but that is a young secondary. When we call Amadi Hooker an older player, Byers is the only thing back there we have that's got any experience hardly at all. And they got intimidated some in the game. I totally understand that. They will grow through that. They will play better as the year goes on. That's why if I'm Mike Vrabel, I'm not getting on people. Maybe behind closed doors, I'm getting on some coaches, but I'm not getting on players. There's a lot of young players at receiver and a lot of young players in the second that you better keep their confidence level up. Another one is Phillips. He tried to play, and you could tell he was stiff. He was hurt, and he fumbles another punt. He's a kid. He's a young kid. He's going to be a really good player. Mike's got to stick with those guys and find a way to win enough games till they grow up by midseason and they're pretty good players. But the youth in our secondary right now is a problem that, in my opinion, can't be fixed.
Item number 4 is obvious. Is it A.J. Brown on the defensive end, essentially?
Yes, it's just as bad. When Harold Landry got hurt, that's a killer. I said it. I said it won't show on first and second down, and it hasn't. It'll show in those passing situations. And, George, we don't look near as quick without Landry out there. And then they got to kind of lean toward him, and then Simmons gets some one-on-ones, and Dupree would get some one-on-ones. He is such a big piece that I saw it last night, and I think what happened at the half, the Bills tried to run it and throw it more than run it in the first half. They went in at the half, says, heck with this. We're not running well. We're throwing it every down, and they just about did till the game got out of reach. And we could not get the pressure. We had the best pass rush in third and long in the league last year. And now I think right now we look in the about midways to middle toward leaning the other way. And yes, that was, I can promise you there were some people in that building that just threw up when he tore his knee up in practice, George.
The Raiders are next. Both teams are 0-2. The Raiders have just gagged their game against Arizona. So it's a matchup of desperation Sunday at noon at Nissan Stadium. Watson, thank you for great commentary. I knew it would.
Glad to do it. George, I think they can fix some of this, but there's some things they're going to have to deal with.
Okay, we'll go to the break, and then we'll hear Mike Vrabel's version, Tony Basilio at 5 o'clock on The Button. Do not go away. This is Main Street Media Television.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit WellSkinMD.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin. It's your last chance to get a spring tune-up for summer. Complete Service Heat and Air can clean your coils, check out your motor, and make sure you have cold air on that first hot day of summer. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. That's 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com. Since 1865, the First Baptist Church of Gallatin on Winchester Street has served its community by catering to the least, the last, and the lost, providing a church of welcome used by God to save the lost, transform the saved, and impact its community. As a proud multi-ethnic congregation, Pastor Derek Jackson personally welcomes you to join them in fellowship Sunday mornings at 8 in person or at 10:45 in person or online at firstbaptistgallatin.org. First Baptist Gallatin on Winchester Street, serving with open arms as a true church of welcome.
Okay, we're back. Knoxville Sports Talk Show host Tony Basilio will join us at 5 o'clock on The Button. We'll open phones at 5:25. If you've got text questions that you want to get into us, we'll take those as well. Billy, how do they do that?
George, all they have to do is I throw the number up there. That is the phone number, 615-588-2998, 615-588-2998. All you got to do, go to the search bar wherever you're watching. If it's Twitter, if it's Facebook, if it's YouTube, there's a search bar on all of those platforms. Just get into that search bar, type in your question. I will see it, and I'll relay that over to George and get Watson's take as well. So find that search bar wherever you're watching, and we will find your question.
Okay, it obviously was not a thrilled Mike Vrabel today when he met the Nashville media. I have not seen it. So I'm as interested as you are in what we're about to show. Here we go.
Okay, birthday girl, what do you got?
Well, thank
Happy
you
birthday,
first.
Teresa.
And also Dwight and Gentry, if you were here, we all share the same day.
Very excited.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Gentry's flight didn't make it back.
Notice he's
in
not
time.
acknowledging.
Exactly.
Well, happy birthday to them, too.
Mike, you mentioned figuring out where to hang the hat offensively. Is it still Derek? And if so, how do you run the ball better with the group of people you have?
Well, I mean, it's obviously Derek. I mean, we have a lot of confidence in our run game. We have a lot of confidence in our runner. We just have to make sure now that that we're all on the same page. That we're blocking things the right way, that we're getting to the right guys. The quarterback's getting us in the right play. And then once we do that, I think you're going to start to, we're all going to start to see the plays that can complement each other and start to work against each other. We just have to, you saw a little bit of what we wanted to be there in the first drive where I thought things were, complementing each other and, moving the football, converting, Ryan had some good throws. Derek had some good runs. Guys made some good plays for us. And then just kind of come back and just weren't able to sustain things.
How do the off sweeps in particular swarmed like they were every time it seemed?
They're fast. They're fast. And we thought we could get the edge. We thought we could, those plays have helped us. Those plays have helped us and in the past and, for a number of different reasons. Those things, when you try to circle them up and try to pin them inside and get guys around on the edge, everything has to be perfect. And, it wasn't, and it doesn't have to be perfect, excuse me, but we just have to make sure that we're getting guys around there and, those guys running inside. We have to make sure we try to get the guys inside, and we've had success running those perimeter plays.
Change when Lawan's out with the speed element on the edge?
No, I mean, we've had plays that were, positive. I mean, we gained one there 9 yards later on, so they weren't all dead. They weren't all for negative gains. I think we gained one for 9 yards later in the game.
Does the same thought process that keeps you from getting too comfortable when you win keep you from overreacting when you lose?
I think probably that's fair. I think we just have to get back. And again, these guys were ready to go. I've asked them to, put this behind us as quickly as possible. It's difficult. It's never a great experience losing on the road, losing in a big game, losing in the manner in which we lost it. We have to move on. I think the guys that have been in here today so far have tried to do that and get back to work together. Do it together with all of us, the coaching staff, the players, working together.
Caleb front, are we still seeing some evidence maybe of his lack of playing time for the last couple of years, or do you expect?
I think there's a lot of new experiences. I think there's a lot of things that are coming to him, and there's some good plays and some plays that he'd like to have back, and I think it's just a continual process of playing and understanding what happens in this league.
Time to wait on that, Mike?
Do you think than he is at this point, or is this kind of where you expected him at this point?
Well, I don't have great expectations for anybody. The expectations are the same, that they come in and they work, they prepare, they give us everything that they have, and they try to execute their job and their role. And so I think that seeing Caleb, there were some good plays and some plays that I think have to be better, but that goes with a lot of guys.
Sorry,
that's okay.
You said you didn't want to be about coaching talent. Don't you need more talent last night? Isn't Trey Avery not ready for what you asked him to do last night?
I think when you go into games, you just try to put the guys in the best positions, to make plays. You try to make sure that they know what to do, that they're confident. And again, whoever we put out there, we have confidence in. They're on this team for a reason. We'll continue to look for guys, whether they're here on our practice squad, here on our roster, or on somebody else's roster. It's just it's a long process throughout this season.
Does your talent match their talent?
Well, that's they beat us pretty soundly. We have to make sure that we're doing the things that contribute to our success, and it's not giving up big plays. It's not turning the football over. It's not mishandling punts. All those things that showed up last night that make things snowball.
Defensively, you guys, much of what you do is predicated off the pass rush. What were they doing last night in particular to kind of neutralize that rush and not allow you to get to Allen very often?
They're in the game. We had 3rd and 9. We got to him, and he was able to get out of there. I felt like we executed up until the point where he scrambled and gained 10 yards. The ball came out quick, and then the other times they blocked us and were able to move the ball down the field. They did a nice job, on the RPOs where he pulled it and got rid of the ball, efficiently and pretty quickly. And we have to continue to find ways to affect the quarterback, impact them. We did it again. There were times where you look at the game plan, talking about not letting them out, trying to affect them, trying to tip some passes. We did, but then there were numerous other times where we didn't do a good enough job.
You play with the offensive identity you've been known for and want to play to with the roster you currently have?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we are going to do. We have to understand who we are and what we believe in, what we've had success in the past. This isn't all of a sudden the time for wholesale changes. This is about getting back to the basics and what we believe in, what we've had success in, and making sure that everybody sees it the same way that I do. I think we're gonna make sure that we're doing less better. Instead of trying to do a whole bunch of other stuff, we're gonna get back to doing things with fundamentals and technique and trying to make sure that everybody understands the details.
Games that you have under your belt, the process with Tim Kelly and Todd Downing, how has that been, the week leading up to the game, then also during the game? How has that process been?
Teron, no process that we've had has been good enough on offense, on defense, or special teams. So, whether it's Chase and Auk, whether it's Timmy and Todd, whether it's Shane and defensive staff, Jim, me, whoever, none of it's been good enough. When you lose, we all could do more. Everybody has to come in here a little bit better with our approach. Just kind of continue to focus on all the little things and just trying to bring somebody along with us. We all get in this mode where it's like, oh man, I feel now's not the time for self-preservation. This is the time for rallying around each other, getting, with the people that you believe in, the people that you trust.
So with that being said, so many fans, they say, hey, as soon as something goes wrong, it's like, hey, fire Coach Downing. How do you respond to that?
That's just not, if I felt like there was anybody that, wasn't doing their job, we're just not going to do that. That's not something that's going to happen right now. I have confidence in our staff. I have confidence in the guys that we put out there. We have to continue to coach and execute better. But that's just not where we're. I appreciate everybody's opinion. I have to make sure that everybody here, that players and coaches are all aligned, and I know that they are. And that's how you get things fixed and you win a game.
Okay, that is Titans head coach Mike Vrabel earlier today in the wake of the disaster that took place last night in Buffalo. Watson, anything there that struck you?
Exactly the way I thought he would handle it. Exactly. We even talked a little bit about it before it came on, and I didn't know what he would say or how, but I just know Mike's personality and the way he does things. And I just didn't expect anything different. He wants to keep the confidence. He's got a young team in a lot of ways, and most of the ones that aren't playing well are young. Most of them are young kids, and I just think behind closed doors, he's going to spend a little more time on that offensive side and demand a little more. You did hear him say, "It's in the time to be thinking this or that. We got to get back to basics." And what do you mean by that? What we've done in the past, we got to get back and be good at what we do. And I think that's leading what's Ryan Tannehill do best and what does Derrick Henry do best. And whether it works or not with this offensive line, I'd be shocked if that's not what you see Sunday is a lot more RPO play action passes, even into second down. When we were good, George, we'd get to 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. And we're just not doing that now. And I think part of it is Derrick will hand Derrick a ball and he gets tackled for no gain. And then all of a sudden, here we go spreading it all over the field. We got to come right back and do it again and either hand it to him again, let him gain 5, gain 7, throw a play action pass because they're still going to be up there when he's in that backfield, and just be a little more patient, in my opinion, and try to stay within the chains. And when we're good, the chains is about 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 or less when we're really good.
Stat of the day is coming up. Then Tony Basilio from Knoxville at the top of the hour. This is Main Street Media Television.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee.
We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports cards, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards.
We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show. It is now time for Stat of the Day, powered by John English Antique Sports and Cards and Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. First, for John English, they specialize in antique and historical sports equipment, games, advertising, and other sport-related items. You can visit them in Shelbyville, Tennessee, open Tuesdays through Fridays from noon to 5 o'clock, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Visit them online at johnenglishgradedcards.com. Also, give Eric Berner a call at Rockcastle Wealth Advisors, 615-490-7052. That's 615-490-7052, or visit them online. That's rockcastlewealth.com for more information. We move on to take a look at this incredible stat of the day. Got a text from Michael Cendrick yesterday. He said, stat of the day is insane. So let's hear it. Through 2 weeks of the NFL season, who are the top 3 passing yard leaders?
Okay, you do not gong us. Watson and I are going to discuss it a little.
Not until the final answer.
Yeah, Watson, it's not Russell Wilson.
Good one there, George.
Yeah.
No, it's not, George. No,
Okay.
it's not.
So
And it's not Brady, and it's not Rodgers. Neither one of them are throwing it for big yards at all.
okay, could it be Josh Allen in Buffalo?
Well, Josh Allen has got to be one. He's passed for 300 in both games.
Okay. So we're going there first.
And he's probably not, but he's
Uh,
probably not, even though I know he's had 2 really good games.
we going Justin Herbert? Chargers?
Ah,
No.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll give you one.
I'm not sure
out of
about that
left
one. I
field.
can't remember the first game.
How about Carson Wentz, who had to throw a ton when they got way behind against Detroit? By the way, that's pathetic. You like that one?
Nope.
Well, fine. That's nice.
I'm not real fond of
Let's
that
hear
one.
what you've got.
It probably is.
This is getting a little testy.
It is a little testy.
You know, they did. I don't know. That one might be right because they did throw for a lot of yards in week one. I know that. And then they got behind in week two at Detroit, and that was a wild game. I'd say I'm trying to think last week first. And, Tua. What did he do in game one, Coach?
Game one,
he threw for 500
plenty.
yards or 400 and something yards the other day.
Okay, we've got
And
2
6
of them.
touchdowns.
We think we've got Josh Allen. Pretty sure we've got Tua. Watson, I want to throw in either Carson Wentz or Jared Goff.
Yeah, I'm going to say Carson Wentz because I think he was really good in the first game. I think he passed for near 300 yards in game one, and I know they had to come from behind, so I know he passed for a lot. I'll bet you're probably right. It's going to be him over Josh Allen.
Let's see it.
The only person you were missing was the Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. Good.
Oh, we didn't even do the third one. I thought it was just 2. I wouldn't have got Flacco.
No.
There's no way. We wouldn't have got that one if we'd have talked for the next hour.
Nobody in Cleveland would have had Joe Flacco.
Oh,
That's a
Lord,
great
I would
question.
not have thought that.
By the way, I think we did pretty damn well.
Yeah, we got 2 of the 3.
2 out
And
of
how
the
do you
3.
not put Josh Allen in the third? We'd have put Josh Allen as 3, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I think we would have.
So let's find out. Well, Billy has to read, and then Tony Basilio in the On Deck Circle.
Yes, Tony is coming up here on the George Plaster Show. But first, Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic. They've got the state-of-the-art orthopedic service with a family atmosphere, whether it's a sports injury, a sprained ankle, or a major joint replacement. Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has the staff, training, and equipment that you need to take care of any patient in any circumstance. Their mission is to provide high-quality, specialized orthopedic care in a compassionate manner to the people of Columbia and Middle Tennessee. Visit them online at mtbj.net for more information.
So let's see if Tony had that threesome. How you doing?
I had none of those. I was like, wow, I'm glad they're not calling on me for this. I had none of those guys.
By the way, a lot of orange in the picture today. I like it.
A lot of orange in the picture because there's a lot of orange in the picture right now. So, and it's been a while for that, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. It has been a while.
No kidding. So if you're Utah's coaching staff,
Yeah,
they got Florida at 100% of what they had to offer.
that's right.
A week later, Kentucky put them away in a really good performance. And then South Florida, for God's sakes, almost beat them. The Utah coaching staff has got to be saying, what did we do to deserve this?
Well, they also had a shot at them. You know, they just didn't execute. Florida easily right now, easily could be 0-3. Hey, thank God that Florida game happened with Utah for Billy Napier. They'd really be on him down there. I got a number for you guys. You guys were just talking about interesting stats. The year is 1955, okay? This is before rock and roll, before the first rock and roll record. That's the last time Florida in the same football season lost to Kentucky and Tennessee in the same year. They're going to be thanking their lucky stars, I think, come Saturday night, George, for that Utah win. That staff will, because, you know, these fan is short for fanatic, and those people in Gainesville are not going to understand that they're playing with a less than a full deck. And, you know, from looking at it the other night, they're playing with way less than a full deck, guys. Let's just call it like it is. for those poor people in Gainesville. I say poor people. I use that term loosely because they've done their fair share of winning down through the years. And Steve Spurrier sure took no mercy on folks when they were short-stacked, nor did Urban Meyer. That team is short-stacked, and they're going to pay the piper before it's over this year. And it might happen Saturday in Neyland Stadium. There's a real chance Tennessee pulls the top off of that game. I really believe that.
Oh, wow. Watson, take over. Let's see where y'all are headed.
Tony, I would venture to say that in at least the last 25 years, this is by far the best opportunity for Tennessee to dominate Florida in the last 25 years. And it might even be further back than that. I think that would be about right. And during Phillips' time with Spurrier and all of that, it'd go back and forth, but Florida won that more than it didn't.
Right.
This game, to me, is the best shot Tennessee's had in all of those 25 years.
And, these chances don't grow on trees. I think you're right. I've been around here doing it close to 30, which is nuts, right? I mean, you'd think that somebody like me would find something else to do. But I'll tell you guys, this thing is really this week. Like, my message has been, I think Tennessee needs to own what they are, which is a touchdown and a half favorite that should blow this team out. They really should blow this team out. I visited with a couple different people who their living is to cover the Florida team. Both of them believe this Richardson guy is hurt. That's why they haven't run him. George, you talked about it. He was running like a madman in the Utah game. Kentucky hit him early. They hit him early in that football game. And that's why once they built the lead, he wasn't running in that game. And he did not run at all last week. And some would say, well, that was part of the game plan. They wanted to protect. They almost lost the game. If South Florida does not fumble a snap and doesn't just mis-execute, for lack of a better way of putting it, that's a loss. There's no way a coaching staff's going to walk off a cliff like that. No way. That team had rushed for over 300 yards. South Florida, guys. South Florida rushed for over 300 yards. And the truth is, Florida is going to be without their quarterback on their defense. Their middle linebacker is going to miss this game, who's a wonderful player. But at the end of the day, nobody has mercy on you at this level. They're gonna plug in two true freshmen that they're gonna rotate there, and that's just not a recipe for success for a Tennessee team that's gonna force them to execute in space. And behind the scenes, Cedric Tillman, Tennessee's leading receiver from last year, probably is not going to play in this game. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure how much it's going to matter. And to those not familiar with me, let me just tell you this. I'm not a homer type. When it's an ace, I call an ace. When it's a spade, I call a spade. And I try to call it down the middle. I try to call balls and strikes on matters such as these. This thing really has a one-sided game written all over it because truly Tennessee has the wherewithal to score and Florida does not. And in this modern game, when those two teams get on the field, teams that are like that, hey, Jeremy Pruitt, supposed to be some defensive guru, okay? When he walked onto the field in games like this, he got popped because when you can't score, you can't score. And this Florida team, they just can't score.
Tony, I agree 100%. Tennessee has to blow this game, in my opinion, not to win it. And the way you better not blow it is pace. The pace of this game is going to really matter. And if you're going well, pace the fool out of them. But if you hit those spurts, think about your defense a little because this team cannot outscore Tennessee unless there are mistakes made. And one of those mistakes might be a really tired Tennessee defense. So they absolutely don't need that to happen. And just take care of the ball. If you take care of the ball, Florida can't outscore you. And if I'm the Tennessee defense, Tony, I load that box. There's no way in my mind that I'm sitting there saying, this kid ain't going to carry the ball. He's carrying it Saturday. He got hurt against Kentucky a little bit. They weren't going to give him the ball. They thought they could win without it. They did. They got what they wanted out of it, Tony. He's carrying it Saturday now. I'm telling you, they better load that box and not let him do it and knock the fool out of him. And then when it comes past time, back off and defend and give him coverages and don't play a lot of man now, because if he gets loose in the pocket in man coverage, he's going to run long distances. So if Tennessee does everything, in my opinion, the way they should, they win by about 20. But if they mess around and they don't do some of the things we're talking about here now, Florida will be in the game. Do not ever count Florida out. I'm telling you, just like I'd say the same about Tennessee if they were in this spot. These two teams hate one another, and they're going to flat leave it on the line Saturday. Florida ain't coming up here waving a white flag. Ain't going to happen.
Hey, listen, I got a couple of great emails from people today that I'm going to feature tomorrow in my blog over at tclub.team. And as I told you guys, I update the blog every day, and I'm always looking for content, which is sort of amusing to me and amusing to others. And one guy said, "You're day drinking again." And I was, and that was the message head. I'm clicking on that one. Somebody asked me if I'm day drinking, since I don't drink at all. And most people would be glad that I don't. I'll tell you this. He says, your team has lost 16 of 17 to them. And you're talking about blowing them out. But Watson, you and I both know, and George knows. I mean, we all know this. These games, we can talk about coaches all we want. These games come down to playmakers on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Who has them? Who doesn't have them? Yep. Who has the edge at quarterback? Who has the edge in the perimeter in the modern game? Who has the edge at the perimeter? Who has the playmakers out there? The answer, Tennessee. Florida's got a nice offensive line, and that matters. That matters because you can control a ball, but only if you can move the sticks. Because I'm with you, Watson. I think if you do the things you're saying you do, which is to say, don't let the kid run around. Yes. Don't give him any confidence. Keep the box flooded. For God's sakes, don't play man. And I'll tell you this, Tennessee's linebackers are bad in space, and their safeties take bad angles. So there's a bunch of reasons not to do the things that you're saying don't do. Obviously, those people are well paid. They obviously watch video. They're obviously going to come to the conclusions that we've come to. And if they come out and try to be cute Saturday, shame on them. If they come out and that happens, shame on them. They're going to get run over, and shame on them, because they're going to make this thing harder than it has to be.
No, and all Tennessee has to do, in my opinion, is play good. Yeah. They have to play a good game, because if both sides play well, Florida cannot outscore Tennessee. Right. The bottom line is, if both played really well, I mean, top of their game, Tennessee is going to outscore Florida. I don't care if it's 35-31, 28-24, whatever it is. Florida does not have the capability. If Tennessee plays good, Tony, they got to play good now. Yeah. If they play good, Florida can't outscore them because they cannot pass the ball well enough. Okay, they can run it well enough, but they can. This kid is not the same passer Hooker is, and if you don't give him stuff with his legs, I don't think he can beat you with his arm.
Let me ask both of you this, though. They were good enough when they reached the top of their A game to beat a pretty good Utah.
I'm telling you.
What if they replicate that Saturday? Then what?
But you know what, George? Utah did not punt the ball in the second half and turn the ball over 3 times, which is what Watson's talking about.
Right.
That's the path. Florida has to create. And even at that, it was a last-second game. I mean, if you go back and think about that game for a second, Florida squeezed every piece out of that orange. Use the analogy for them, since Tennessee obviously is a color orange, but Florida squeezed every bit they could out of that game. and still let that opponent go the length of the field just basically every time they touch the ball. They just didn't execute. Utah didn't. If Utah executes like Watson's talking about, they're walking out of there with a 2-touchdown win. And if you're Florida, that's what you got to count on Saturday. You got to count on the fact that so far this year, and they did it Saturday night, we've been resourceful when teams get inside our 15-yard line. That's one thing they can hang their hat on. And I don't know whether that's charmed or not, but that's the reason they're 2-1 right now. South Florida again, and South Florida is a bad football team. They're not even a decent football team. They're a bad football team. Rush for over 300 yards on them. I mean, at the end of the day, like Watson said, hey, on the air today, I said this because I'm way out over my skis in this game. And generally, look, I said back in July, I will not do that. I will not talk about this game till the chickens come home to roost. But geez, guys, now that the game's here, when you look at what Florida has and you look at what Tennessee has, Tennessee, I hate to use this term because I don't like this term because kids compete and everybody competes and they put their best foot forward, but you'd almost have to choke to lose this game. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's what Watson just said. You'd almost have to not execute in the moment if you're Tennessee to lose this game. And I hate I hate the choke term. I don't like that term.
Well, it's to me, you don't get penalties. You don't turn the ball over. You play a good game and you don't let Richardson beat you with his legs and you don't wear your defense out to where they're tired. If you do those things, they're not going to lose because Florida is not going to score. I don't see how in the world Tennessee is not high 20s and up. And Florida can't do that unless Tennessee gives them short fields, turns the ball over, or wears that defense out where they go 3 and out. And it's been a hot week here. It's going to be a hot week. And if it's 3 and out a bunch and the defense gets tired now, Tony, that balances everything up. That levels the playing field. So they better be smart with their pace or they'll get in trouble now.
Well, you and I both know good things better happen early.
Yes.
Because when you've lost 16-17 to somebody, Tennessee goes out there and puts 14 quick points on them, it's ball game. If that game is tied at halftime or something around that, around that mark, oh boy, your home crowd, George, it's like those Atlanta Braves before last season. When that home crowd in the postseason down there in Atlanta would start holding their breath, that would rub off on those guys playing for the Braves. The Braves overcame that last year, but there was certainly that spirit in the air of here we go again. And I'm going to tell you something. That's a powerful thing. Your home crowd can work against you when the spirit of here we go again is in the air. I really believe that, especially in college ball. But hey, in the major leagues, all those years for the Braves down through the years, that spirit of here we go again is really powerful. And you look at that, that's what that stadium's going to look like on Saturday. Now, of course, they're going to wear those stupid, goofy-looking gray uniforms inside that stadium, what I call Butch Jones gray uniforms, which are just awful, hideous, ugly, disgusting. They're reprehensible, but that's what they're going to do because that's what they want to do. And, more power to you. I don't know if you guys know that I'm a little subtle here in my opinions when it comes to certain things.
Yes,
those uniforms are hideous. It's ridiculous.
Who makes that decision?
I had no idea.
I don't want my crowd turning on me, Watson. I want to score 14 quick points. Hey, if I score 14 quick points and I'm Tennessee, Florida can warm those buses up because I'm going to blow them off the field.
No doubt. This is your best shot in the 25 years, Tony. Enjoy the moment because I think Tennessee's going to play well. I said, and I'll stick to it, George. I said if they beat Pitt, they're going to beat Florida good. I'm going to stick to what I said on this show back 4 weeks ago.
Yep.
Tony, first of all, I love your term, the Butch Jones gray.
That's
hilarious. By the way, I drove through Jonesboro, Arkansas over the weekend. I did not wave. Who made that decision for Saturday? Why would you not proudly wear your orange and show a national TV audience, welcome to big orange country, not welcome to Big Gray. That's ridiculous.
Right. And if you're going to do that, let's have a gray out. Let's have everybody like go to the local UPS and see if we can borrow their work uniform. I don't.
Well, who makes that decision?
Well, obviously that's an athletic director decision, a football coach decision. Look, I get the concept of everybody's got to sell an extra jersey. And, I don't understand it. I don't get it, quite frankly. I don't see Alabama doing it. I don't know. They're kind of the gold standard in that deal right now. But here's the thing. If you're going to do it, wear something that's nice looking. That gray, gray's not even a color. It's a color neutral. And it's associated with Butch Jones, who's a complete goof and a loser. Well, I'll tell you guys a quick Butch Jones.
You have got to start. You've got to stop sugarcoating.
Crazy Jerry Glanville, who used to be on with me, and Watson knows Jerry Glanville's a nut. Went over to a practice with Butch Jones, and Butch has that microphone on, and he's doing all this stuff and all the histrionics, and he's doing all the Butch Jones things that people do because they can't coach. People that can't act the way Butch Jones does. Anyway, so he gets done and he walks over to Jerry Glanville and he's so proud. And he says, Coach Glanville, what'd you think of our practice? And poor, Butch Jones strutting around with the platforms in his shoes and the girdle he's wearing or whatever it is to make his chest stick out. And Jerry Glanville looks at him and says, Butch, he says, I got to tell you something. He said, this, what you just did, he said, it was very, very unproductive. He said, first of all, you're distracting with that microphone. Are you going out for the cheer squad or are you trying to coach? He goes, you just distracted your football team for 2 hours with that. He said, and you guys didn't get enough work done. He said, oh, and by the way, he said, all the cussing at your kids. He said, I worked in the NFL for 4 decades and I never MF'd one player, but more power to you, Butch. More power to you. I'm not going to watch and shaking his head.
Believe me, that's Jerry Glanville right there.
And Jerry never got asked back to go to another practice. They never asked him to come back. So
not an honorary captain this week.
No.
So okay. If Tennessee wins this in double digits, how long is your post game? And tell people what you do after the game. I want you to be able to plug that.
So we're over at tclub.team. I already look tired. These night games take it out of me. And, here's the thing. The way I see it, that game's going to go off at 3:30 Eastern time, which means it's going to be done, I don't know, 7:30 maybe, 4 hours. Would that be about right? Okay. We go on the airwaves on my website at tclub.team, tclub.team, immediately following, or we're over on Twitter as well. We will be on conservatively now with a win, 7 hours, 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 a.m. Last time Tennessee beat Florida, I had people bringing me food to the studio so we'd stay on. And I know you guys think that's ridiculous and silly, and that's the truth. Now, here's the thing, George. Tennessee loses this game, which I think's a layup, and Watson Brown thinks it's a layup. Now, I don't know if he's going to say that out loud. I think this thing's a layup. If they figure out a way to lose this game, I might be on till Monday at 11 a.m. when we go live.
If they lose, George, keep the knives away from Tony.
Well, I already told you guys I don't drink, okay? I will drink liquor that night on the air. I promise you I will drink liquor on the air, because how else will you get through that? I mean, it'll be the most miserable. These poor people so badly want to see their team come back. And you know what? They deserve it. In an era where last week they papered the house, okay, for Akron. They papered the house. I keep it real. They papered the house. But they got like 87,000 people. Now, they announced it at 90, whatever, the 102. But they got like 87,000, something like that, to show up for the Akron game. I mean, that's borderline a kicking scrimmage. 87. Think about that in the modern era with the big screen TVs the way they are and all the good games going on. these people deserve to win Saturday. The team deserves to win. This good young coach, he's a really solid young coach, deserves to win. He treats people really well. But these fans really deserve to win. And if they don't, I'm going to be up till like Monday.
Okay, if you need about a 30-minute break at 2 a.m, you
yes.
call
Can
me.
I call you?
Absolutely. And then I'll call Watson.
Thank you.
We'll come in. I know Brenda will love that.
Well, that's 1:30.
Hey, Tony needs us.
Coach, will you be up 1:30? Can I count on you?
Hey, what the heck? All I can say to you, Tony, babe, save your energy in practice this week now and use it all on game day. Don't use it up all during the week here.
Boy,
just calm down a little bit and save your energy.
Well, the nature of this is such that I only know one way to do what I do, which is, as you can tell, like me and Josh Heupel are, it's pedal to the metal. I just
your
love
shot
this.
clock doesn't
Listen,
get down to 3.
I think it's great to have it back, guys. I just think it's great to have it back.
Oh, it is.
And you guys were talking about the Titans last night, and you kind of look at, they kind of look at the game, and the game day people are going to be here, but you have windows, right? And I don't know where the Titans are in that whole window analogy. With the NFL, you certainly have windows. And in college, you have windows. If Tennessee wins Saturday, they could really be opening a window. They could go from looking like they were in ruins, literally ruins, a year and a half ago, to a window could be opening. Now, I'm not saying they're contending for anything this year. I'm not. I'm not going to do that. Because you have Georgia and Alabama on the schedule, and they're better than you are. And then a trip to LSU, and that's going to be difficult. But still, a window to respectability, a window to credibility, just a window. And how nice would that be for this fan base, for this team, for the program? It'd be a good thing here.
Sounds to me
I
like
really
it's a
believe,
window.
Tony, George, we'll end it with this, I'm sure. But I really think if they win this game and win it like they should, they're in the top 10 next week.
There you go. That's a window.
It's a window to a 12-hour post game.
There's no question. Hey, that's going to happen anyway.
I know it is. I know it is. Call me at midnight. Thank you for doing this.
Hey, thank you. It's an honor.
He is terrific. Tony Basilio joining us from Knoxville. Wow. Great visit. Yes, we're late to the break. Who cares? Do you care, Watson?
No, I loved it.
I don't care.
I loved it.
You know what? Okay, so we're telling people they can phone in now. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, let's put up the phone number real quickly. I know we've had some interesting text questions that have come in. Here's the phone number. Hit it. This is Main Street Media Television.
At Sumner Funeral and Cremation, our mission is to serve families as our own, celebrate the life of their loved one, and help begin the healing process.
My whole family, including my wife and my mom and siblings, were very happy with the treatment that we received. I would highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation.
We offer funeral, burial, cremations, and pre-planning services.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Tell us about One Stop Realty.
So, as I've said before, George, One Stop Realty is the hometown brokerage for all your real estate needs. We've been around since 1974. I took ownership of the company in 2019. We've added agents. We have expanded into building up our property management. The growth with our agents is fantastic. We added 3 new agents in the past couple months. Angela Hyatt, Nathan Skelly, and Crystal Locke have all joined us, and they're going to be fantastic agents. They're ready to help you in all your residential, your commercial, property management, and auction needs. We are a family business, and we want to help your family find your next property in Middle Tennessee. Okay. Office number is 615-822-0750. My cell phone, 615-440-7011, or the website, onestoprealtytn.com. And you can also find us on Facebook. I encourage everybody to go out and like and follow our page, just as the same we did with George Plaster.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. One area I can help with is if you are newly or nearly retired, or maybe have changed jobs and have an old 401k account. You may need more information to help you clearly understand your options. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email eric@rockcastlewealth.com.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time. I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com.
We're back. I promised that I would give you bowling information today. I'm going to show you the commercial we cut, and then we're going to the phones. Billy, hit it.
Hey, this is George Plaster, and I'm excited to announce that the second annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night is going to happen Monday, November the 28th at the Hermitage Strike and Spare. The three charities that will benefit are Last Minute Toy Store, Martha O'Brien Center and Stars, and our intention is to get them that money so it can do the most amount of good at Christmas time. Now, here's where I need your help. I need you to sign up to play in the most fun charity event you've ever been involved in. Imagine 64 foursomes with 64 sports personalities in the area. As a single player, it's $200. If you get a foursome, it's $800. And what I want you to do is reach out to me via email, plastergeorge@gmail.com, and we'll get you signed up and get you ready and raring to go. Again, that's plastergeorge@gmail.com for a night you will never forget. Okay, we've got loaded lines. Let's start down in Tallahassee, Florida. Intern Butch, welcome.
Thank you, George. You know, I caught the last little bit with y'all talking about with y'all talking to Tony about the matchup with Tennessee and Florida this upcoming weekend. And I gotta say, as the last undefeated college football team in the state of Florida, I have to get y'all's take on where do you think Florida State ranks in terms of, you know, Florida State, Miami, and Florida. Because I look at Florida, who I think Tennessee is going to stomp, and their quarterback, who was supposed to be a Heisman favorite, still hasn't thrown a passing touchdown. Then I look at Miami, and in their first real game, they can't find the end zone against a team that had to play so many true freshmen due to suspensions and a targeting call. You know, I'm not trying to say that Florida State is a top 10 team, but what I am trying to ask is, do y'all think that it's a possibility that they are once again the best football team in the state of Florida?
Really interesting question. Watson, you start it.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're not. The jury's still out on Miami, and we're not going to know another week because they play Middle Tennessee this week, who they should get. I do think Florida State, guys, is underrated at 3-0. They played a decently tough schedule, and some of these 3-0 teams that haven't are rated above them, and they proved a lot to me when they lose their quarterback last week, and the backup came in and did a fantastic job in the game, which gives them depth at that position. And so, yes, probably I would put them as the top team in the state this week myself, even though I'm still got Miami hanging right there with them. I do think they're underrated, and personally, I think they ought to be in the top 25.
Watson, is it possible Miami is the F word? Fraud?
Could be. We don't know yet. They just haven't played anybody other than A&M, and A&M, I'm not sure how good they are. They're pretty good on defense, but their offense is not very good. So I just don't know about Miami yet, George. I don't. I think Florida State is the better team today. Florida's not going to catch Florida State during the season. Their record won't be as good as Florida State's, and Miami is the one I'm still not sure about yet.
Butch, when do you wear the Superman outfit again?
You know, you can catch me wearing it actually a few times. I'm going to be wearing it not only this Saturday when Florida State takes on Boston College, where I think Florida State will move to 4-0, but as well during the volleyball game the day before, where Florida State takes on Notre Dame, and possibly on the Sunday, the soccer team plays Clemson. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Florida State is actually the reigning national champion in women's soccer. So it's going to make a few appearances this weekend. So I definitely say be on the lookout. I don't know if those games are ACC network. I assume they are, which I'm guessing George is going to have a joke with that, as well as the Longhorn network coming up. But yeah, so if you are subscribed to the ACC network, I would highly suggest tuning in.
Yeah, the volleyball game that you brought up will be on ACC minus.
And I will say that the volleyball team does have an ESPN game actually this weekend. They do
Hey.
have an ESPN game this weekend, but everything else might be on ACC minus.
Butch, it took them a little while to figure out where I was going, but you were a good sport. Enjoy wearing that costume.
I will. Thank you, guys.
Watson, I'll give you during the commercial break details of how you can watch ACC minus.
Yeah, do that for me, George.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate that.
Let's go.
Can I catch the Braves? Can I catch the Braves on that Sunday?
Well, it depends on if the Mets go ahead and clinch, perhaps at the end, yes. Jason and Franklin, what's going on?
What's up, guys? I'm wondering what you think about Aaron Judge. If he's not coming back to the Yankees, where will Aaron Judge sign? You know, Red Sox maybe? I'd love to see that.
I'll kind of start that. First of all, I think the Yankee people have gotten a little overconfident in sort of we're the Yankees, we'll re-sign him. Really? If you were going to re-sign him, why has it gotten to this? Something has gone on, Watson, behind the scenes that has pissed him off because they offered pretty good money. He bet on himself, and now he could be a cajillionaire.
Yeah, and I just George, we talked about A.J. Brown earlier. Yankees cannot let him go. They can't let him go. I mean, it's going to be a minor miracle that he doesn't break Roger Maris's record. And I was a big Ricky Mantle guy who was fighting for that record along with Roger, if you remember, George, when that all went down. And what a year Roger Maris had. But he had that short right field fence. Aaron Judge has hit him deep now.
Oh,
I mean, God. It's impressive to watch this kid play. I mean, I don't know that I've seen a ball come off a bat like it does his in a long, long time. And I don't think this is a flash in the pan. I think he's worth the cash. They better not let him get away.
The Red Sox will do it because they desperately need a good vibe given the year they've had.
And they love to give it. They love to stick it to the Yankees anyway. So they're going after him hard.
The Dodgers will do it just to piss off the Yankees. Don't rule out the Angels. Can you imagine Trout, Shohei Ohtani, and Aaron Judge in the same lineup?
And they probably still lose.
Yeah, because they have no pitching.
No pitching.
But they're dumb enough to think another power hitter would do it. I know we need to go to the break. Got a couple of more phone calls waiting. Tony, you'll be the leadoff hitter. Then Clay, all of you stick around. This is Main Street Media Television.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. One area I can help with is if you are newly or nearly retired, or maybe have changed jobs and have an old 401k account. You may need more information to help you clearly understand your options. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
Crazy day on the show. Man, it's been fun. And we conclude with a good list of phone calls. Tony in Nolensville, welcome into Main Street Media.
Hello, George. Are you there?
I sure am.
Okay, well, I'm having some difficulty hearing Watson, but I'm able to listen and hear you and Billy. But I'll go ahead and talk. I hope Watson can hear what I've got to say. Talking on this college football stuff, there's 3 teams that I'm keeping an eye on pretty closely. 2 of them play each other this week. They are surprises. Is Tulane, I think, is 3-0, and Kansas being 3-0. And they do play each other this weekend. And that's going to be an interesting game to see. Who would have thought either one of those would be 4-0 after their 4th game? I think
Tony,
that's pretty much.
I thought Kansas played Duke this weekend.
They did. This coming weekend, they play Tulane.
Interesting. Maybe
Isn't
you
that
got
right?
maybe you got me wrong, Tony. I thought Kansas played Duke this weekend.
Oh, well, let me say this. Maybe Duke is because Duke is 3-0. Isn't that correct?
Yes, I think you got that mixed up.
You're right. You are right. Tulane plays Southern Miss.
Yes,
that's
yes.
correct. That's okay. I had my teams wrong. You are. Thank you for speaking up and correcting me. I need that ever so often, and my wife does it quite often. But I need it from my sports buddies too.
I love it.
And another thing, guys, I was going to get Watson's take on it. Like I say, I'm having difficulty time listening to him. I wanted to know from Watson, with UT playing in Akron last week, how difficult is it to have your team focused on the game in hand, being Akron, knowing who's behind them, being Florida? And how difficult is it, or not difficult, but how much of some of the Florida game plan do you implement during the Akron game? I'm going to hang up and listen to your answers on that, guys. And great show, George, as always. Looking forward to the bowling. You know that.
Tony, I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Okay, Watson, let's start with the second one. It's a really interesting coaching question. Do you show nothing against Akron and just be vanilla, or do you just throw it all out there?
No, you show what you've shown so far, because they're going to see all that on tape already. So you don't care anything you used in any one of your games, you'll use against Akron. They've had things ready for Florida, in my opinion, a little harder this time because of a new staff. But normally those big games, you've picked a couple of days in the summer in your preseason camps that maybe the players don't know it, but you're working on Florida. But the week of the Akron game, I doubt it. I don't know that I can remember ever doing that. I've not heard of many coaches doing that. But you're preparing for Florida long before this week. This is the first marked game on the schedule. Pittsburgh was, but Florida is the marked game because it starts SEC playing at such a rivalry. They're not going in cold. They've had a thought process. I do think it's a little harder on Tennessee than Florida in the summer because it was a new staff and they weren't really sure what Florida was going to do.
Clay in Nashville, good to talk to you. How are you?
George, how are you?
Doing good. Hope you are.
like Tony said, I can't really hear Watson, but let me say hello to my friend on the plateau, first of all. But I was calling about, Vandy's start. George, I had some reservations about Coach Lee in his first year, but I've got to say this year I'm kind of drinking the Kool-Aid. I had the chance to meet him at the SEC Nation set when Paul Feinbaum was interviewing him on Friday before the Wake game, before his show on the SEC Network, and I got the chance to meet him. Nice guy, great guy. I do think this team is getting better. Basically, they've won 3 games you think they would win, and they've lost a game you think they would lose. Now it's all about whether or not they can win an SEC game, how many or if they can win multiple SEC games. But I do think this team is getting better. I fully supported the quarterback change because I just didn't think Mike Wright played well in the Wake game. But that's a tough deal, and that's kind of what I wanted to ask Watson about. As a coach, how do you've got a starting quarterback that, granted, against inferior competition, he was king of the mountain for 2 weeks, and then he plays better competition and kind of stinks it up, and then all of a sudden he's not the starter anymore. So that's pretty tough. So Watson's been a coach before. I wanted his take on how you handle that as a coach to keep Mike Wright's confidence up.
Clay, I'm going to let you hear this off air, and we're going to work soon to try to get this situation fixed where we can have the back and forth that we want to have. Watson, take it away.
George, you don't make and Clay, you don't make the switch till you absolutely 100% sure it's the right thing to do. And when Clark did it, I can tell you right now, he thought it was time. It's the right thing to do. He'd seen enough of Swan to do this, because you're taking one of your leaders and benching him. And so you've got to think of all the ramifications of that. But the big thing is that when you make the switch, the kid's got to play well. And he has so far, but it's going to be a little different story from here on out. And I just totally believe it's going to take both of these kids, whichever one of them goes out there first, it's going to take them both. And George, to me, this is exactly what I've been preaching. They fixed the non-conference schedule. They're 3-1. They're confident. They're not beat up. They've gotten to play a lot of players. And now if you go 3-5 in the SEC, you're in a bowl. They've set themselves up. This is exactly what I've said the blueprint is till you get better. And once you get better, maybe you don't have to do that in the non-conference all the time. But this is the blueprint. Clark won the games he should have won. He lost the one that he wasn't picked to win. But he's 3-1, and there's confidence. The people are positive. The players are positive. Now you jump into SEC play and see if you can steal some. And he's got 3 good shots, in my opinion. He's got a shot at Missouri. He's got a shot at South Carolina, and he's got a shot at Florida. That's the 3, I think, and he's got 2 of those 3 at home, George. And maybe Ole Miss, I'm not sure about them yet. That would be the 4th one. And then he's got Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Those will be tougher, but he's got a shot at 3, in my opinion, if things go well and the ball bounces right and they play well and they're lucky and stay healthy. But it wouldn't have mattered if he didn't set it up with this non-conference schedule.
Call. Clay, thank you for the call. Okay, we're going to go to the break. We'll have Plaster Bet of the Day. I know Jeff in Murfreesboro called late. Jeff, if you will, call me tomorrow. We will get you on. Give me a holler around 5:25, and we'll talk it out. Plaster Bet of the Day on Main Street Media Television.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit WellSkinMD.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin. Since 1865, the First Baptist Church of Gallatin on Winchester Street has served its community by catering to the least, the last, and the lost, providing a church of welcome used by God to save the lost, transform the saved, and impact its community. As a proud multi-ethnic congregation, Pastor Derek Jackson personally welcomes you to join them in fellowship Sunday mornings at 8 in person or at 10:45 in person or online at firstbaptistgallatin.org. First Baptist Gallatin on Winchester Street, serving with open arms as a true church of welcome.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping
Breaking news, it is now time for Plaster's Bet of the Day, powered by Bart Durham Injury Law. They have aggressively protected the rights of a broad range of victims of car accidents and personal injury in both Tennessee and Kentucky. If you too have seen your life interrupted by an injury on a highway, in a hospital, or at your workplace, you should let their attorneys do the work fighting for the full financial compensation that you need while you and your family focus on your complete recovery. Learn more about Bart Durham Injury Law by logging on to bartdurham.com. Let's take a look at some of your results. George, last night you got the Eagles. What was it, -2 there?
EAGLES, baby.
The Eagles got it done last night, but the Titans did not. Boy, they did not. Your record falls to 29-37. So the last couple weeks have definitely taken a toll. But if you keep stringing together wins like this, I think that'll help you in getting back on track.
If this continues, I'll be sent to the minors. So let's take a look at where I'm going tonight, because it's got to work. Dodgers at home, -1.5, so you can get the odds down to something much easier at -135. Watson, if this doesn't win, I don't know. Maybe I do need to go to the minors.
I've been there before.
Yes, I have.
Go down there and rehab a little bit, George, and come on back. So,
is it physical rehab or mental?
No, yours would be. You're past physical rehab, so it would be mental rehab.
Okay.
There ain't no physical rehab out there, baby.
Yeah, you got a good cheap shot there at the end.
That's way past us even discussing. So,
You've been waiting to do that for a while.
yeah, you open the door.
Fine. You
Yeah.
wait and see what happens on Wednesday.
All right, no
Speaking
doubt.
of Wednesday, Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee during the 4:00 hour, and then University of Tennessee play-by-play voice and a good friend, Bob Kessling, will join us at 5 on the button. We'll again open the phone lines up around 5:25. If you didn't see the bowling commercial, we made the announcement today. The bowling event is going to happen. Second annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night will be Monday, November the 28th. That's the Monday after the Thanksgiving holiday. If you want more info, look at the commercial or go on my Twitter or Facebook sites. There is more info available. You'll see the commercial between now until eternity. We're going to sell this puppy out, and we'll see you tomorrow. Watson, you behave until then. Yes. Billy, you just try to behave, period.
I'll try, George.
This is Main Street Media Television.